Hi there, people. I'm going to play just a small clip at the end of this. It was a wee interview I done today. I had went to the beach. I decided to go a run on the bike. I wasn't really planning on doing many interviews, but this lovely chap, Michael, stopped to admire the bike, and we started having a conversation and he agreed to chat. Unfortunately, after we had finished recording, the chat kind of continued a bit further, and we had a really good discussion. It was too late to hit record on it, but Michael used to build ships and stuff, so we spoke about the buoyancy and what factors were taken into consideration, and the pennies started to drop, on this whole gravity nonsense. But anyway, I was there and I was, pointing out to people the horizon, horizontal, flat and level, and I also spoke to Michael about liquids. So what I'm going to share with you here is just simple searches you can do for yourself. These are established sciences, they are well understood, but again, you'll see people like Michael who understand these things and know them to be a fact, a fundamental truth of their reality, but the images that have been pushed to them cause a contradiction within their mind, and it's just a matter of the battle. Will the common sense win, or will the investment and belief in these images win? But the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter what they believe. A simple fundamental fact of liquid, which I'm going to read out here in a wee minute, tells you everything about where you live. And I know that it is so simple for some people, but this is how simple it is. Now when I read these out, maybe it will give you a bit more fuel. And people, please look up these. You can go to Wikipedia and get the very same information. Okay, so horizontal, a parallel to the plane of the horizon. Parallel to the plane of the horizon, at right angles to the vertical. 2. Being at or involving the same level of hierarchy, or noun 1, horizontal line, plane, etc. So we go to the word plane, a flat surface on which a straight line joining any 2 points on it would wholly lie. 2. A level of existence, thought or development. Adjective 1. Completely level or flat. Then I move on to liquid. A liquid is a nearly incompressible fluid that conforms to the shape of its container, but retains a nearly constant volume independent of pressure. As such, it is one of the 4 fundamental states of matter, the others being solid, gas and plasma, and is the only state with a definite volume but no fixed shape. A liquid is made up of tiny vibrating particles of matter, such as atoms held together by intermolecular bonds. Water is by far the most common liquid on Earth. Like a gas, a liquid is able to flow and take the shape of a container. Most liquids resist compression, although others can be compressed. Unlike a gas, a liquid does not disperse to fill every space of a container and maintains a fairly constant density. A distinctive property of the liquid state is surface tension, leading to wetting phenomena. So, hang on, just make sure I've got all that there. The density of a liquid is usually close to that of a solid and much higher than in a gas. Therefore, liquid and solid are both termed condensed matter. On the other hand, as liquids and gases share the ability to flow, they are both called fluids. Although liquid water is abundant on Earth, this state of matter is actually the least common in the known universe. Because liquids require a relatively narrow temperature pressure range to exist, most known matter in the universe is gaseous, blah blah blah. So, introduction. Liquid is one of the 4 primary states of matter, with the others being solid, gas and plasma. A liquid is a fluid. Unlike a solid, the molecules in a liquid have a much greater freedom to move. The forces that bind the molecules together in a solid are only temporary in a liquid, allowing a liquid to flow while a solid remains rigid. I don't know if I'm going to read too much here, hang on. A liquid, like a gas, displays the properties of a fluid. A liquid can flow, assume the shape of a container, and if placed in a sealed container will distribute applied pressure evenly to every surface in the container. If liquid is placed in a bag, it can be squeezed into any shape. Unlike a gas, a liquid may not always mix readily with another liquid, will not always fill every space in the container, forming its own surface, and will not compress significantly, except under extremely high pressures. These properties make liquids suitable for applications such as hydraulics. This time, bear with me a wee second here. So, you know, we understand liquids very well. If we go to fluid mechanics, again, it says the exact same thing. Fluid mechanics is a branch of physics concerned with the mechanics of fluids, liquids, gases and plasmas, and the forces on them. Fluid mechanics has a wide range of applications, including mechanical engineering, civil engineering, chemical engineering, geophysics, astrophysics and biology. I don't know why it's in astrophysics. Fluid mechanics can be divided into fluid statics, the study of fluids at rest, and fluid dynamics, the study of the effect of forces on fluid and fluid motion. It's a branch of the continuum mechanics, a subject which models matter without using the information that it is made out of atoms. That is, it models matter from a macroscopic viewpoint rather than a microscopic. The study of fluid mechanics goes back to, oh wait a minute, where am I? Sorry, I'm in the wrong bit. Fluid statics, this is the main branches, okay? Fluid statics or hydrostatics is the branch of fluid mechanics that studies fluids at rest. It embraces the study of the conditions under which fluids are at rest in stable equilibrium, and is contrasted with fluid dynamics, the study of fluids in motion. Hydrostatics offers physical explanations for many phenomena of everyday life, such as why atmospheric pressure changes with altitude, why wood and oil float on water, and why the surface of water is always flat and horizontal, whatever the shape of its container. Okay, so it is there, it is recognised, it is known, it is understood, and it is applied. Okay, so again, I'm just reiterating it again for people who may be new or don't really understand it. Fluids and their behaviour on Earth are well studied, well understood and applied. Bodies of water on Earth do not conform to the exterior of any shape. You cannot have convexity upon the surface of any body of water. It does not have the ability to support itself like that. Okay, and it doesn't matter how slight you want to make the angle or the curvature, it will never display it upon its surface, ever. Okay, so this one fundamental fact of reality, a fundamental element of reality, should prove to anybody beyond any shadow of a doubt that it is preposterous to believe that you live on a spinning globe. Okay, so I hope you enjoy the wee interview with Michael.
When are we going?
We're going now, okay? Cheers people, peace. YouTube channel, I'll give you a wee card once I'm finished. So, this lovely gentleman has agreed to have a wee chat with me here.
No.
What's your name, man?
Michael Lake, as in water.
Oh, excellent, that's
easy to remember.
Lake, and you're mentioning water, which is a fantastic, because that's what I'm going to actually bring up here. Do you know why, when we look at the horizon here?
Right.
It's called the horizon. Do you know why it's called the horizon?
I suppose it's the limit of your visibility.
Yeah, but would you say it was because it was horizontal?
I couldn't answer that one.
Horizontal. Do you understand fluid mechanics?
I'm afraid I don't.
If I said to you that fluid mechanics would say that liquids will take the shape of the container,
okay, I understand
and
that.
the surface will always be level and parallel and flat.
Yeah.
Yep. So we know that to be a fundamental fact of life.
Right.
That every single person alive can
right.
test.
So if you knew that and you agree to that, would you agree that that's the case, that liquids take
Well,
the shape of their container and
they
the
do.
surface is always
They
parallel
do.
and flat?
I'll draw another allergy to that now at the moment. I worked in boat buildings.
Boat building?
Yep. And when we wanted to put on a water line on the boat,
Yep,
we got a hose,
yep,
we filled it up, and we'd hold it to a certain mark on the boat,
yep.
and we'd wait until the water spilled out of the other side, if the ground was angled, and we knew then we had the level.
Yeah.
Yeah, something as simple as
So
that.
would you say then that water is a great leveller? It helps us to find a level wherever
Certainly,
we're
I
at?
would imagine that's true.
Yeah. Well, for me it is true. It's a fundamental fact of reality. So if we know that, okay, now we also know that the Earth is
Wrong.
75% covered in water.
That's true enough.
How can it be a globe?
How can it be a globe?
If
Well,
I say to you,
all I can answer that is like saying that is, gravity keeps us all where we are. The Australians are down there somewhere.
Do you really
why
believe
don't
that?
Why don't they fall off?
do you really believe that?
I do. I
Can I ask you why you believe that?
Yeah,
Can I
yeah.
ask you why you believe that?
Well, the world rotates.
Does it? Can you feel it moving?
You never feel it moving. No,
Okay.
no.
Have you ever
no.
experienced it moving?
Well, no. I was never in an earthquake.
So would I say to you, if I suggested that the only reason that you believe that it is a globe is
Right.
because of what they show you on TV?
I had never any thought of doubting it. You doubt it, you do?
Well, I base my experience on science, and as I've just explained to you, it's the science of liquids, the fluid dynamics.
Okay, now stop now there.
Right.
When the sailing ships you sail and go, they knew that the sea went round, and when they went to pick up these winds in specific places, like the trade winds, they knew the horizon limited their view forward,
Yeah.
but they knew that the world slanted, that it did something. I mean, you have different levels of tide in different parts of the world
Yep.
as well. How they all stay there, I don't know if it's underneath us, but I presume the gravitational pull is the same throughout the Earth. I won't call it a globe because you feel it's not a globe.
Well-
no, I couldn't argue on that one really, you know.
Well,
You're into science.
Yep, and gravity has never been proven. Gravity is just a theory. They need gravity. If they're going to say that we live on a globe, they need some force that
To
keeps
keep it
everybody
down.
stuck
Otherwise, if
upside
you
down.
jumped up, yeah.
But we understand that as buoyancy and density.
Right,
So if something is more dense than the air,
Right.
it'll fall. If something is more dense than the water, it'll sink.
Okay.
But if you go into that water right now and
Yeah,
you
we
keep,
float.
but if you breathe the air out,
that's right, you
if
won't, you'll sink.
if you breathe the air out,
Yeah.
you will sink.
Absolutely.
Right, so we know that's through buoyancy and density. So you're making your body more buoyant because you're taking air in, which
Okay.
keeps you afloat.
Okay.
When you let the air out, you sink.
You sink, yeah.
Okay, so they only need gravity when they're trying to explain why things don't fall off their globe. Now what I'm saying to you is, you're saying about the seas being round,
Right.
but liquids don't behave like that.
They don't. I can. Yeah, if a liquid is in the round, unless something keeps it there, it's going to go off
Yeah,
into
but the
space.
surface will never display convexity.
Yeah, that you can't
surface-
have a high point in the middle.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
know that.
I do,
So
I
that
do.
alone contradicts the
It
claim
does,
that
it
you live
does,
on a
it
globe.
do, no, don't get in too deep because you'll get me into a total tangle. Interesting. So, what did you do in college?
Well, I never went to college. I've always
No?
been an avid observer of reality myself.
Right,
I studied science through my later years in life,
right,
and I understood that science had subdivisions. You know, you have natural science, formal science and social science.
right.
Natural science is the observing of the world we live in,
Okay.
and when you make claims in natural science, you have to repeat, observe, test. It should be recreatable,
Right.
right, or else it doesn't come under science. Mathematics is a formal science because it's a language,
It is. of
and a
course.
language can be manipulated.
Right.
So if I use English, I could tell you the truth using English, or I
Right.
could tell you a lie using English.
Okay.
Mathematics is the same. You
Right.
can start from a false axiom, and
Okay.
you can create a mathematical construct that works as a
Right.
mathematical construct, but when you look for the natural observations in reality, you know, it has to match, or it doesn't come into the realms of natural science. So when we understand fluid dynamics,
Right?
we understand that the fluid will take the shape of any container,
It will.
and the surface will always be parallel and flat.
Right?
So that is a fundamental fact of reality. When you go to the claims that we live on a globe, they're telling you that the oceans are convex and humped. Now that goes against all observed reality. That is not what we experience every single day.
I spent
So-
a few years, a good few years of my life as a fireman.
Right?
And without the laws of gravity, you won't get water up a suction hose.
Like the
Tell
laws of gravity.
Yeah.
So can you explain?
I can, of course, that what we call 1 bar pressure, or 15 pounds per square inch, if you subtract the air out of something, water will lift
Yeah,
up
that's right.
to the same level. Yeah, that I would understand. So when we'd be out at some fire, maybe where we would have to use suction, only for gravity, we were done.
Well,
Other
how-
people had a fire. were
So how
done.
does gravity come
Cooked.
into it?
Huh?
How does gravity come into that? It's not really gravity, is it?
Well, it's the weight that's down on top of us, 1 bar pressure.
Yeah.
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 I do understand that, and you said that to me a while ago, that if we didn't have something to keep us down, like this fellas out in space, you'd float off.
So would it surprise you if I said to you that there is absolutely no real photographs or real video footage from space? They are all composite generated images. They're computer generated images.
Right?
You know that?
I don't know that, no.
So if you go home and you look for real photographs from space,
Right.
you won't get a real photograph, you will get a computer generated image.
Never occurred to me. No, what you must do for me now, and I'll go off then. I'd love to hear you starting that machine.
Do you want me to start it up for you? So thank you very much for talking to me.
Not at
I
all.
really appreciate it.
It was a pleasure.
Thank
Give me
you.
your name.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a card.
Oh,
Right,
perfect.
my name's Dale, but I'll give you a card for my YouTube channel and you can check it out.
Perfect.
Alright,
Oh, yeah.
smashing. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Not at
Appreciate it.
all. You're welcome.